o'clock, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, October 8th, 2025 Pembroke Select Board meeting. Please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note that this meeting is being made available to the public through a live video and audio broadcast on Comcast Government Access Channel 9 and YouTube channel at Pembroke Meetings LS, and is being recorded for broadcast at future dates. Comments made in open session will be recorded. Hi, and welcome. Today we are having public hearing on a noise complaint at 65 School Street, Somewhere Else Tavern, Incorporated, doing business as Somewhere Else Tavern. There are some noise complaints that we heard on August 20th, 2025 and September 10th, 2025. We do have a slideshow of some information to share to open with, if you wouldn't mind getting that rolling, Phil.
You guys see all right?
Yeah, you're fine.
We can see, right? Is that your way?
No.
Test it, and it still doesn't work. It worked 5 minutes ago.
Let me see it there.
Settings are correct. It worked 5 minutes ago. Now 7 minutes ago. It's not coming up. Windows D. Yeah, I tried it.
Naturally. Maybe need to restart it. Did it work? Oh.
So the intent of the presentation is just to give the board an overview of where we're at and the history of the property. So just some quick numbers and information. We're going to talk about the background, just give you an overview from the town manager's office, issuance of the permit and the complaint timeline. We'll talk about town responses, what modifications you've made to date, the request for the police to monitor it and what the results of that are. Mass General Law, Chapter 140, 181, there's 2 sections that are applicable that we'll talk about. And then your choices on what you can do this evening, whether you modify it, suspend it, revoke it, or do nothing. So, again, just quick.
Slide. Yep.
There we go. So here's a quick history. I'm not going to spend, there's a lot of detail up here. The board's pretty much heard a lot of this. You did issue the permit on June 4th for outdoor live entertainment, and then we had noise complaint. You had a hearing in the middle of this not a hearing, excuse me. You had a meeting in the middle of this just to get an update on what was going on there. We did notify the licensee of a public hearing that we're hearing this evening. So that's pretty much where we're at. Cover quickly on the laws. As we said, Massachusetts, Chapter 140, Section 81, this is paragraph 3, which basically says, I'll paraphrase, that the select board, can or may only relate to compliance within the applicable laws or ordinances, that's why we're covering this, or public safety or health order, or steps required to be taken to guard against the creation of a nuisance or to ensure adequate safety and security for patrons in the affected area. So that's section 3, or paragraph 3. Paragraph 5 says, again, the selectman may revoke or suspend a license granted pursuant to the provisions of this section upon finding, after a hearing preceded by 10 days, we've given the 10 days notice requirement to the licensee, that the conditions exist which would have justified a denial of the original application for such license. We have a couple of audio recordings that just demonstrate from a distance, neighboring households, what that sounds like. I hope these.
No, that's not on.
What's that? It's playing.
Yeah, remember? It goes to sleep,
Okay.
sadly.
Is it on? Yeah, it's.
No,
Yeah, it is what it is. It's, let's try this again. It's picking up through the HDMI, which, so it's not really picking it up well. Essentially, the audio recordings, and there's a number of them, we're not going to play them all here tonight, are significant in that it can be heard, from a significant distance outside of the local bylaw of 400 feet and within neighboring households pretty clearly. So we'll try this one, but it's going to do the same thing. So, all right, the local bylaw, as I just referenced, says the noise is a nuisance if it's plainly audible at a distance of 400 feet from the building, structure, vehicle, premises in which or from which it is produced. It is audible within 400 feet. The fact that the noise is plainly audible at a distance of 400 feet from the vehicle or premises from which it originates shall constitute prima facie evidence of a violation of this bylaw. Evaluation criteria, these are the things that the board, questions that the board should answer to determine your decision this evening. Has there been an unreasonable increase in the level of noise in this area as a result of this outdoor live entertainment license? Massachusetts Department of Public Health, we had a referral of a complaint as a result of the impacts to the health and safety investigated by the health agent, whose findings resulted in the impact of children or abutters are experiencing negated by the presence of a license. In other words, because the board has issued a license, it's not a violation. In the absence of a license, the finding would have been slightly different. It would have been a public health incident, and it would have been a violation. Have sound reducing, number 3, have sound reducing efforts such as the use of sound dampening blankets, use of a decimeter to monitor sound levels and maintain reasonable level work to improve the level of noise in the area. Number 4, would amending this outdoor live entertainment license to earlier hours or different sound creation, i.e. acoustic music versus amplified music, improve the level of noise in this area? I'll note that the board already did amend or suggested that we, that the music stop at 9 when the original permit was later than that. So, and has the license unreasonably increased the level of noise in the area? So that sums up what you have. You have some notes on your agenda. So that is what we have this evening. If you have questions for administration, we're here to answer. And then I would recommend that, because we asked the deputy chief to take a look at that, I would recommend that the board hear from the deputy chief.
Thank you, Bill. Deputy, would you mind coming up and joining us? Thank you for coming. You're welcome. So we know you've been out to the property a couple of times at least. Do you want to tell us?
On 8:30 and 9/6, I was out with George Very the first night, and I believe that it was unreasonable, and it exceeded what would be considered normal noise for neighbors. We were out there for about a half an hour the first night, and it was excessive. The second time I went, I met Mr. Keegan. It was not as loud when I was there, but Mr. Goki had called me later that night, and it indicated that the sound had gotten higher and louder, and we did leave because it was pouring out that night.
Right. What time did you go those 2 nights?
I'm just going to refresh my memory.
Okay.
7:50 on the first night, and I stayed there until 8:35.
And do you know what the second one was?
I met Mr. Keegan there at 7:30, and then we were there a short time because of the weather, and then
Right.
at 9 o'clock, Mr. Keegan had called, I believe, your phone as well as mine.
Yep, as well. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, we all know what the timeline is here. I don't really feel like I need to read over all the dates, but this all began on June 4th when this permit was issued, and then since then it has just been, there's been a couple of meetings, there's been multiple complaints. Obviously, the deputy's been out there, George Berry has been out there. So I think we need to address a few things tonight. So we did see the evaluation criteria. We have some questions to maybe go over that maybe we want to discuss here together amongst the board. So let's just start through, we'll start going through the criteria, and we can just maybe discuss each point and see where we fall on this. So the first question was, has there been an unreasonable increase in the level of noise in the area as a result of the outdoor live entertainment license? And I would say, personally, I would say that's a yes. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on this. That's
It's definitely
different,
increased.
right?
Yeah, true.
The other piece of this was Mass DPH referral of a complaint to a minor child abutter as a result of the impacts to health and safety investigated by the health agent, whose findings resulted in the impact the child abutters are experiencing is negated by the presence of this license. So without a license, this would have resulted in a violation. Is this license impacting public health and safety and/or safety? And that would include excessive noise. So my answer to this would be yes, it is. And it's just not found as a violation because obviously there's a permit in place.
Right.
Right. Has sound-reducing efforts such as the use of sound dampening blankets, use of a decimeter to monitor sound levels and maintain a reasonable level, work to improve the level of noise in the area? Well, we know we did try, there were sound blankets that were attempted. We did change the times, although that's the other question, to try to have them end a little bit earlier. Did they improve the level of noise in the area? I would say they did not. Would everybody agree with that?
Yeah, and I can actually
Thoughts
say
about
that on Saturday, an ambient level with a decibel meter was taken inside the resident's house at 30, and when the band started, it was at 90.
Yep. Might be.
This was taken with an app?
With
The
a-
app?
No, I bought a
An
reader.
actual one?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. The fourth question is, would amending this outdoor live entertainment license to earlier hours or different sound creation, acoustic music versus amplified music, improve the level of the noise in the area? We did try amending this to earlier hours. It certainly didn't change the level of noise, and I don't see how it would. I understand acoustic music has the possibility of being less than amplified music, but I think that was made clear that that wasn't something that was interested in. And then the last question was, has this license unreasonably increased the level of noise in the area, which I would have to agree, it certainly does. I don't know if anybody has any other input on any of these questions different from my own.
No, I was unaware about the, that you had a meter inside the house.
I bought one.
Okay.
And I used it a couple of times, and I gave it to Mr. Goki, because I said I wanted to have some readings from, I haven't been in his house. I gave it to him to take some readings in his house, and the readings on Saturday, he sent me, I have videos of it, or pictures. Without the music, it was 30, with the music, it was 85 to 90,
And you saying Saturday, which Saturday?
this last Saturday.
Last
Okay.
Saturday. I know that Somewhere Else Tavern's counsel is here. Did you want to come up and speak?
Well, I thought this was a hearing.
Come on
You
up.
guys have already decided. it
Well,
sounds like.
we just wanted to discuss through the evaluation
I don't know how
first.
we're going to discuss. You're all set to vote on it. I mean, I am a little peeved. Somebody's phone's here.
It's mine. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, I do want to say something. First of all, can you folks hear me? Because I've been told people can't hear me in the back.
We've amplified the mic.
Did you? Okay, good, because I don't want to be yelling to people in the audience here. You know, there's been one complaint, there have been multiple complaints, but from one person, or shall we say, one family, okay? And I understand, Mr. Keegan, you gave him the reader, but, you know, that wasn't a part of what we discussed. That was something you gave him. Frankly, the Gokis don't want, no, it's my opportunity, please. The Gokis don't want the outdoor entertainment. It's clear. That's been stated multiple times. We've been trying to work with them. And you know they're not going to come back. They've been talking to the chair here since July. And let me clarify this. The complaints didn't come in starting June 4th. That's when they actually got their permit.
No, that was when I said the permit was issued.
No, you said this, yeah, but the way you the way you put it there, it sounded like it started then. The complaint came in when Mr. Goki came to the town hall, and evidently you were there when he made the complaint and was saying, I'm not being told or I'm not being dealt with. And the reality is that we have to have a fair hearing here. And, you know, I understand that, you know, you gave him the monitor inside his house. My clients are telling me they were watching that house all week and it was all dark. So clearly there's something going on here with the facts. I understand that you gave it to him. I trust you did. But I'm sure, now you're saying you're going to use evidence that hasn't even been a part of this project for a hearing to demonstrate that, yes, there was 85 to 90 decibels. First of all, the bylaw, the noise bylaw, which you have said all along, we don't have anything to compare it to. You got to be 400 feet, and if it's audible then they're in violation. It's prima facie. I'm not sure if the officer was 400 feet. My understanding is she probably was there at the site. I think that's what it was, in the house next door, which is, we all know, is 85 feet from the outdoor entertainment. The bylaw says that you're supposed to be 400 feet. There is no evidence put before this board to say 400 feet is, I could hear the music. You're making it from 85 feet inside the house. And as far as the Board of Health goes, that was a referral to what, DPH, Department of Public Health? And that's what I heard earlier today. I have not even seen the complaint, which we should have been provided. You're using that evidence because of what you heard. And they said there was no violation. Had anybody who has amplified music performed music, that would be a violation. Then that would be a violation. Could be private citizen, could be anybody else, could be, Treehouse, the town tavern. They don't have it and there's kids there, that's a violation. The way you're making it sound is that we are jeopardizing kids next door. And that's absolutely not the truth here.
I read what they sent over. I didn't.
Yeah, it's not a part of the record, only but what you're reading into it, and it's building your case to say it's a health and safety issue. It is not a health and safety issue. The noise has been, shall we say, the license was given time and scope. The time was 6:30 to 9:30. The scope was 2 days a week, a Friday and a Saturday. We're not talking till like midnight. We're not talking 4 days a week, 10 days or 7 days a week. It's on a Friday and Saturday. And then we came in here with a hope to try to, shall we say, negotiate in good faith to work and say, we'll reduce it then. We didn't have to. Because as Mr. Trabuca had mentioned, you didn't have the right to do it. Because you have to do a hearing. You have to give the notice. And that's why we said we would do that, to try to help out here. So we're trying to be neighborly. And the fact is, and I think it bears mentioning, and I know, Mr. Keegan, your wife is the one who sold him the property. okay?
What does that have to do with it?
Well, because it's a business district. They bought into a business district. They knew that the town people of Pembroke said, we want businesses here. This use has been in existence for years. And as a result, people who move into a business district have to work within that business district, just like the businesses have to work with the people. You don't want those annoyances? Fine, you have to move into a residential. And this house that was a garage was converted. I'm not sure how it was converted. It was a house that had a garage. The garage was then condoized. So they put more density there. Not these people, they didn't do it, they bought it. But that's in the business, so now we have to work together. It's mixed use. So we're trying to work with them, and the answer is no, we're going to give the resident what they want, shut it down. For 3 more weeks is what we're looking at.
And what would your suggestion be to work with the resident at this
Well-
point? I feel like we're pretty much exhausted all possibilities here.
Well, right from the get-go, my suggestion was that the police department should have a noise monitor to be able to do it. We have one, we've been taking it. In fact, as a part of this hearing, I want to make sure it's a part of the record, that for the, at least September, we have readings that should be set here. You don't have a decibel reading of maximum or minimum that you should have. The only thing you have by law, by regulation, is 400 feet is audible. And there's nothing here to say that you've been 400 feet to determine that you should, shall we say, vacate, or shall we say, take the license away. So I want to make sure this is a part of the record, because this is what we have been doing ever since, I'll give you an extra copy, ever since that this came up when they were brought in back in August. Decibel readings. So what would you do? Certainly should get one of those. I understand you have a bylaw that's going to pass. That's very important. But the next thing I would do is then I'd have the police officer go 400 feet and measure. If you're hearing something audible, that is prima facie evidence.
Who took these decibel readings and recorded them?
This was done by Mike. I'm not sure. Mike's last name?
The manager.
It's the manager. What's his name? Mahoney. Mike Mahoney. So I have to say, you know, these people, yes, we're trying to work with them. We put sound blankets up. But from the text messaging back and forth between you and Mr. Goki, it's not going to satisfy Mr. Goki. And you know what? I understand why. He's got music next door. He's bought next to a restaurant. But I want this part of the record because clearly since August, Madam Chair, you have been working to try to make sure that the Gokis are satisfied by it. And that should be a part of the record. Those are the texts that he sent to you and that you did not disclose until we asked for them.
Right.
Thank you.
They were text messages with a
Because-
resident who was inquiring about problems he was having at his house.
And you were
that's what I
advising
was
to
supposed
contact the police to figure things
Of course,
out.
because that's what you should do, is contact the police.
So
if you
any
have a
event,
complaint.
my suggestion would be to let these people to be able to continue. Frankly, they want to be able to go from 9:30, from 6:30 to 9:30. I think the way it is, what's happened in the past for the past few weeks that we've been here. Apparently, they're up to 90 according to Mr. Goki. But I'm not even sure what time it was that he did that.
I can look it up, they timestamped the stuff that's sent to me.
Yeah, that certainly would be helpful, because this is the hearing that you want to take it away from them. And I think if somebody's going to come after your license, you'd want to know exactly everything. In fact, the Goki should be here saying, this is the problem, and advocating for it. Because you're taking one complaint. How many people live around that whole area within a radius of 400 feet? Do we know? How many complaints have you had, other than the Gokis? How about the people who live in front of the Gokis at Unit 1? Any complaints from that one? How about across the street?
We have actually had some others.
Now, you've had one gentleman about 700 feet away, and as a result, we worked with him to try to change the stage.
I
And he
remember.
came in the other day, and he said they did work with us, because
Yes.
we're trying to work as a business. That's what neighbors do. They
I
work
understand.
together.
And
They
it-
don't demand take it away from them.
Right, and the stage was moved, and that is what solved that problem for that resident.
That's right. And so
recall.
now we're trying to figure out how to solve it for another resident. And if
Right,
it
but-
turns into another problem, but you want to take it away.
We have gotten to the point of what could solve this. Nothing is being, what
Well, we
could
can't
possibly
satisfy
solve
you,
this?
Madam Chair, because I know you don't want it there from the get-go. That's
I-
been the decision. To even have us come in on a Wednesday afternoon at 5 o'clock, because it was you who set that up.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, to come in here for an emergency meeting on a Wednesday. You guys usually
I've
meet on
not-
certain days. You had us come in on
Oh,
a
we did.
Wednesday
Yes, we did.
afternoon.
We had the special
Don't say
meeting.
you don't know about it.
I
It was you who called
was
it.
trying to remember what time it was at, I'm sorry.
So my point is, this
We
is
usually
important
meet
to
at
the,
7,
this
that
is
was
important to
fine.
the Cooks. Jason grew up here. They bought property here. They bought into a business. They pay taxes here. They are trying to make a business. They employ people who live in around this area. They try to upgrade the food. They try to do all this stuff. They donate their money, their food to various causes. You yourself had asked them to
I'm very
donate
well
for the
aware.
Historical Society.
For
They've
sure.
done it to the police. They've done it to the fire. They've done it to the seniors.
Of course.
They brought people in for kids who enjoy music from Cardinal Cushing School, so they like to go out and play. Why do I say this? Because you have to understand there's more to this than just them going out there saying, turn up the music. And what are they playing? They've got 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds out dancing, playing music. This isn't like some heavy metal, let's play, 80s music or something. And they're competing against what? They're competing against other businesses in town and other businesses around town. During the summer are lean months for businesses. And as a business owner, as people know, when you're in your lean months, it's really hard to make and turn a dime sometimes. And what do? They've got good competition. Town Tavern's got a great site. They've got competition against other towns around here, Marshfield, Cohasset, Situate. But during the winter, they get it. But during the summer, they're trying to make that successful, to maintain it. So, yeah, it's personal to them. And, I have to say, I take umbrage because I feel like the decision's already in there. You're going to sign it tonight, and then that's it. It's done. And I don't think that's a fair hearing. And the fact that we came here the last meeting and we were given in hand, already decided before we even had said we'd come back again, we were given hand service to be able to say, you're coming for a revocation hearing. That wasn't sent certified. It wasn't sent. It was already predetermined. And I feel like the results are already predetermined. And I'm not really sure what to say other than, if that's the case, you don't have 400 feet. You don't have 400 feet. That's a violation of your bylaw. You're making a decision pursuant to your bylaw. That doesn't make any sense because you're saying you're going to take somebody who's 85 feet on a recording that was done on Saturday that we don't have before us. And no offense, officer, I'm not sure where she was when she took it, but I don't believe she was 400 feet because my understanding from last testimony we had from other people, she was next door at Mr. Goki's house, 85 feet, we know that, and somewhere else. And also when she came back, I know you said that there was a storm, again, she trusted Mr. Goki. I think Mr. Goki needs to represent himself and not have others represent for him. And I think the town, I trust the officers. If they had the equipment, they should have had from the get-go to measure it, because that's an independent, unbiased viewpoint from
And
my
if I
client's
recall
standpoint.
correctly, when you went out that first time, you took measurements or you went to 4 different locations.
That's correct.
There were different places that you went, and it was like the front of the building, obviously the property line of the
By
Gokis.
Adway.
And Abway was the other one. Do you have any idea how far off that was?
I'd be
I
guessing,
think,
I don't know.
right. But there was multiple locations you did check. Okay.
So I would say that, no, you don't have the evidence. I think that the fact is that, at this juncture, what would be fair, as much as my clients wouldn't like it, is to stick to what it is that we agreed to do 2-3 weeks ago. There are only 3 more weekends. The license, then, that's it. It's over. And then let the chips fall where they fall in the spring. And I think my clients probably already know where that's going to go. But at least let them finish it out. And it's Friday and Saturday. That's what we're talking about. What, 6 more events potentially?
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3?
Shut people up.
I mean, it's weather's turning and things start going inside. But I think, and as far as like this has gotten out of hand, it's affected the business. People are upset. They're getting calls. Customers don't want to go because it's unfair. So, I realize it's unfair for the Gokis. Buyers beware, sometimes that's a harsh thing to say, but when you buy next to a restaurant that has music, when you buy next to a gas station, when you buy next to a shopping center and they have traffic that comes in the morning, that's in a business district, you are buying next to something that is going to have an annoyance. And that's the reality. It's unfortunate, but I feel like it has to be said, whether it resonates with some of you, it should resonate with others, because, again, if we can get into a philosophical discussion that it's unfair for new people trying to buy a house and having to buy next door to a business, I get that. Then change the bylaws, create zoning, affordable housing in areas that they should go down zone, get 5,000, 2,500 square feet to build smaller homes so people can have starter homes. So they don't have to buy next door to a business. I can agree with everybody on that, or anything. But this is saying that you're going to take business away, and you could potentially shut down a business too. Because one person complaining next to a business, what happens when the next person moves next to the next business and complains? Are you going to do, this is going to be the standard? Or are you going to say, no, well, this isn't the standard, but we did it in that case?
Did you have something you wanted to add?
I just want to be absolutely clear, okay? When they bought the property, there were no outdoor entertainment licenses. Pembroke had never issued one, and it wasn't even possible at that point, okay? Just to be clear. So that excuse that they bought a property knowing that this was going to happen is not realistic.
Well, it is because
5 months.
They were
5
there
months.
5 years since COVID. This board has allowed outdoor entertainment. They've been there with a tent for 5 years, since COVID, when they have it. I'm sorry, Mr.
No,
Brown.
we did not, actually, and we brought this up to the cooks on basically during that time frame during COVID, that was illegal.
Yes.
And they finally came to us to make sure they were going legal. I said, that's great, because during COVID, we didn't want to hurt anybody business-wise
That was
to make
fair.
sure you can make some cash. I didn't want anyone going out of business. I already have like 3 businesses right now that have already shut down. And you think I want another one?
We don't.
That's ridiculous. But the whole thing is with this application, it's a permit for music. Not a permit because for them to run their business. It's a permit for music.
Correct.
Can you remind
It's
me when they-
totally separate.
No, I get that. I've actually, as a former select board member, signed off on a lot of them in my town. I know exactly what
Right.
it is, and I know it's a license.
Yes.
It's a license, just
Correct.
like a
Yes.
car license.
How
I
long
get
ago
it.
did Somewhere Else Tavern, how long ago was it purchased?
5 years ago.
2020.
5 years ago that
2020,
they purchased it,
correct,
right?
yes.
I
Yep.
do remember it was going.
They purchase it. They're not renting. They own the property.
No, I know.
They're
I know
invested in this town, you know?
I'm well aware, I've known them for a
frankly,
very long time.
it is a business issue because, yes, it is outdoor for 2 days, a Friday and a Saturday. You know, it does generate income, and the income helps them through that lean time. The summers are lean times on Route 27. I've got a few restaurants in Kingston that it's not an easy time. People want to go to other areas. No offense, if I were to go, I'd want to go to Town Tavern. Nice looking out over the water. It's a gorgeous place. So they're trying to compete with other people, not just Town Tavern, all these surrounding communities. Whitman has a great restaurants downtown. All these little places have something that's unique. Music brings people in. They like music.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
These readings, I was there with the manager and the owner, and when we went to the areas where they took them, the sound wasn't as loud as it is over in the other area. These are irrelevant to what we're talking about. And what the cooks do for Pembroke is admirable, but it has no bearing on what we're talking about here. None whatsoever. I'm grateful for everything they've done, and I don't want to diminish it, but it does not bear here. And just to echo what he said, to say that they bought into this and they should have known better is disingenuous, and it's a ridiculous statement.
Well, what-
They
sorry.
did not have this, and there was nothing on the horizon saying they were going to have this. So those arguments are ridiculous.
Well, your argument to
I'm
say that,
talking now.
sir,
You made me
yeah,
stop while you were talking.
Go right ahead, sir. It's your floor.
I went and worked with them. I tried to work to get this taken care of because I don't want anybody hurt, not the resident, not the business. And at least twice after I left, the volume went up. And that's not just me talking, that's not just Mr. Goki talking. At least once, that was the police talking. All they had to do was work with me, with us. And I don't feel that was done. That's all I have to say.
Can I say one thing? You and I sat at the bar the night that you two came back in the pouring rain and said it was a 62 decibel reading. You and I sat
It was
at the
never that
bar.
low.
You,
Not once.
Sean, enough. You
We're
used
not going to
my
do it this
meter
way.
reader.
Excuse me,
We're not gonna turn this
Jason.
into a circus.
Jason.
You and I spoke as gentlemen.
Jason,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
I think that the same could be said for either. You said that the resident bought the house and they were next to a restaurant, and therefore they could have known that something like this could take place. Obviously, permits change, get added, subtracted, whatever, but it's the same for the business. They bought next to housing. So I don't think that that alone is.
You're going to kill your business districts.
I have
You
no
apply that
intention.
mentality
I
to your businesses. Their businesses are always going to have problems because somebody is not going to like what the business
Of
has.
course, and
You
it
don't
was
have
our-
outdoor storage, and
and-
guess what? People hate outdoor storage. But you have it. People try to sell their wares, to put their things out.
Correct.
And guess what? It's
But
not
it is
allowed in this town.
our job to consider not only the businesses, but the residents, and to try to find a balance there. And that is what we've been trying to do for weeks and weeks and weeks on this. This is not anything personal.
You've never been to the site.
Are you kidding me? I've been there many times, and I was a frequent customer of Jason and Lori's and all their businesses, as a matter of fact. That's not true at all.
And what was the music like?
The music, I didn't go to their outdoor music. I was called over there.
So you're making a decision on, and without even having been there yourself.
I
At least
don't
Mr.
need to
Keegan had the decency
I
to hear,
underst-
because I knew you were against it from the get-go.
That
I'm not
is not-
suggesting you have to be there to go see it.
That is not
but you've
true,
been
that I was
passionate
against it
about
from the
this since
beginning.
day one.
I issued this permit just as much as anybody else. I voted for it. Of course I did. Of course I supported them trying to have outdoor music. I personally didn't see any issue with it whatsoever. I could never have foreseen that this was going to happen. This is not what I want either. I don't want to see any business in this town fail. That is not what my intention was here. So that, for you to say that I was against this from the beginning is it's wrong.
You can justify it
It's
any
wrong.
way you want. I
I
think
don't
my
have to
clients and I
justify it.
understand at least your position on it, Mr. Keegan's.
Well, like, as I said, I do have to consider the residents upset as well, and they should be
The
considered.
residents, as in one family.
They are
Not
not
that you
the
don't
only-
even know how many other families are there.
All right,
or
well,
who
even
complain
if it is
each other
just
than
one family,
So one
excuse me,
complaint's enough to
even
do
if it
it.
is one complaint, I do still need to consider it. That is what we're here for. We're supposed to listen to the residents as
And
well.
that is not going to help your businesses in your town if that's what,
Listening
if
to the
that's
residents
standard you
is
do.
part of what we're supposed to do here as well. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying we have to do what they tell us when they say so. I'm saying we do need to listen to them and consider it.
Didn't say you shouldn't.
That's
But
what we're
clearly,
supposed
you're
to
just
do.
listening to one, and that's it.
That's not true.
Let me ask you a quick
Yes, Mr.
question.
Flynn.
Listening to tonight's session, I don't know which way it's going to go, but it doesn't sound like it's going to go the Cook's way. What about a consideration of bringing the band inside? That way you don't lose the band license, they can continue doing business, get the same clientele, until maybe a solution is rendered in the future.
I took
Wasn't that how it was
the first
before?
meeting that we had here on the Wednesday. I stopped there first because I needed to see the building itself. So I think looking at the actual physical structure, it's bifurcated right down the middle. When you walk in on the left, there's the bar, and that's like a shotgun, and you can just barely have seats there. Then if you go on the right, I think they have like tables set up on the wall and tables against the wall. So I think it's just too tiny a location for you. If you're going to have like indoor entertainment, maybe acoustic guitar, maybe in a corner, I could see them doing something like that. But obviously, that's going to take away whatever seating they have in there. And because I was thinking that myself and preparing, I was like, is there possible like this? Just can't.
I
Now
just
they
think
may
it's-
come back and ask for
It might be in
that.
their best interest to be a little more creative
Yeah.
and bring it inside. I mean, I hate to see them lose it.
I got it.
Maybe use the outside for the dining for
Yeah.
a bit until maybe something can be constructed and everybody agrees upon, and then it continues forward. Just a last ditch effort there, that's all.
Appreciate that. No, I think you see it, you walk in, and I think size-wise, it could be, maybe if you rent out the whole place, then you could put in, things of that nature. I think that's the limitation on it, but I may be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Thank you.
I know Damien's in Hanson used to have bands, and they would shut down kind of the food area and run the band and kind of move some tables around, and it was very successful.
I think there's a
It
wall,
is
like a
pretty
glass
small.
wall that goes down, I'm going by memory, but I recall, is there a glass wall that goes down the center?
It is
Yeah,
split-
so that's
it's split in half.
if they could take that wall down and have a big opening, then I think that would work. I haven't been in Damien's, but I think, to be able, otherwise you'd have band on one side, bar on the other.
I mean, that's kind of what it was. It seemed
Was
to
it?
work out.
Okay.
They
Somewhere
do
else
in the
tavern.
winter have music inside, but some of the big bands cannot fit. But in the winter, they go inside with the smaller bands. They do that, just.
Somewhere Else Tavern literally has like a wall down the middle of it. So it's almost like two long, skinny spaces, I guess I would
Thank you.
say.
Yeah.
But, anything else? Anybody have any questions? Did you have any?
Anybody other abutters in the speak or any other
We weren't
people?
going to.
Oh, we weren't going to
Nobody has anything else? Did you have anything else you wanted to share? I'm sorry, Council, did you have anything?
No, I think I think everything's been said. I think it's,
Okay, thank you. Do we have any further discussion? Does anybody have any motions? Any other questions? Anything we would like to bring up? We weren't going to take public comment tonight. That wasn't the intention.
Why is the
We're
public
the fourth
invited?
closest house to that.
I'm a taxpayer, yeah?
I understand.
Residents,
Okay, you're making a decision.
more than one resident.
That's never been made for decibels, that is supposed to be done at 400 feet. 400 feet has never been done yet. So you're making a decision on a biased meter reading that, A, nobody
I'm
knows
sorry,
if it's been
Kate.
calibrated.
Hold on one second,
And how
please.
good it is.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Couldn't hear you.
The 400 feet comes from our old bylaw. That has always been, well, not always, but I mean, that's been there since the 70s, early mid-70s.
Okay, well, it's still a bylaw.
To change it, because we wanted to make it more sophisticated, use decibel levels and all kinds of interesting things, but that needs more study. Nobody could agree on how to measure that decibel, from where that decibel.
Well, then how do you
should be
determine if it's too loud, if there's no standard to go by?
measured. The old bylaw gives you.
Okay, that's
the-
400 feet if
be
you want to use
audible
that.
at
Nobody's done a
400 feet.
400-foot measurement.
I'm at 23 School Street. I've heard it really loudly on Saturday night around 8 p.m.
Do you have a meter?
I take control.
All right, so then,
Shut it down.
people's
And then
hearing is that,
organize
along
it.
with 600 decibels or whatever. It's decibels, you can't make
Excuse
a
me,
determination
we
that
can't all be
hasn't
yelling
been
back and forth in the meeting, please. This is not how we're going to do this.
Well, you haven't determined, you haven't proved your point that it's too loud at a certain amount of feet, hasn't been proven, therefore you have no evidence to shut something down. You have no solid evidence. Zero.
I'm just trying to decide on how long we have for
Okay,
public
So
comment.
let me just make a comment. if I may.
Go ahead.
It's a discretionary license. You may be correct. They may let it go to November 1st.
How is it discretionary?
How is it?
It's a board has to vote on it.
Oh,
So-
because we already have it, or now it's discretionary?
No, you have it
Oh,
until, you
good.
have it right
So
now
it's-
today.
Till
So you're
now
making
it's
it-
discretionary.
But unless the cooks want to work with the town, it'll
We've been
never get
trying to
issued
work.
again.
But I will tell you, I have to go, but I want to tell you that no one was in that home last weekend.
You don't know that, I don't know that.
And the weekend.
The homeowner's here.
All right, clearly we need to have some public comment. Shane, why don't you come on up? If you could just identify yourself for everybody.
He has
Please.
standing because he is the complainant.
Of course. Please.
Shangoki School Street. I was home. I would never go out of my way to lie to anybody to create this problem. When I came here in front of you guys back in August, the first thing I said is I didn't want to be here. I didn't want anything to do with this. I didn't want to complain. I just didn't want to hear the music inside of my home. And I was pretty clear about that. That's all I asked for. And I've been demonized via social media, everything. I was not looking for anything. I didn't want to hurt the business. I have no ill will towards these people, the patrons, the employees, the bands. I have no problem with them. I just don't want to hear the music in my home at this volume. I do have to correct Sean, it was not 90 in the house. It was at 80 decibels Saturday evening. I wasn't going to yell from the back of the room. The bass line in my home with no music, my children, TVs on, are in 30 decibel range, 30 to 40. When the music is playing on average inside of my home, it's 70 to 80 decibels. If you do the math, that means it is 30,000 times louder than my bass line. Sound does not just go, if it's 30 to 60, it's twice as loud. It's like an earthquake, you know, you go from a 2 to a 5, it's 50,000 times more powerful. It echoes throughout my home. It is not just little tidbits here and there, it is echoing constantly for 3 hours the whole time. I understand they run a business, they have patrons that love it. I love live music too, I just don't love it inside of my house. And I would never in a million years, if I knew this is what was gonna come of this and all of this bad blood, I never would have even opened my mouth about it. I would have just sucked it up, I guess. Because I feel awful they're upset. I feel awful that you guys are upset about this. I never wanted to create a rift or a problem with anyone. I just wanted to speak up for my family and do what was right for my wife and my children. And this is where we are today. I would never lie, like I said. I'm home every time that I've taken a video. I don't know how I would take a video of the music that's playing. And I'm a construction worker. I'm not that smart. I can't accomplish anything like that. They're time stamped. I'm sure if you go into Apple, it would tell you exactly where I am, where I take it in my house as well. I have the video. I can play it if you want. But I would never fabricate anything like that to try and hurt a business or an operation, ever in my life. I know business is important to this town. I know it's important to the cooks and everyone that works for them, and I'm just being honest. I would never make anything up like that. Okay?
Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Hey, so
Could you just identify yourself?
I'm Kate Bergen, Mattakeesit Street. I'm kind of across from where Ozzy's is, and I'm not sure how far it is. I'm pretty sure it's more than half a mile, but I can hear Town Treehouse from my house when they play acoustic. Sound travels. It's gonna move. It's gonna go every which way. I can't believe that you would go after one business and not the other. If Town Tavern was sitting in this room, this would be a different board. And everybody in town knows it.
Town doesn't have the same permitting.
Exactly, because they for some reason don't need it.
No licensees are treated any differently by our office.
100% they are.
No, they're not.
Well, of course, you have to say that, but yes,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
actually-
So I can hear Town Tavern.
Professional reputation on the line. I actually work here.
I know who you are.
It's not discretionary. I don't get to treat people differently. We don't treat people differently.
That is very untrue. I know from personal experience, once the board has something in their head, they're not going to stop. And I don't understand why one person's happiness goes above everybody else in town. Like, yes, he has small kids. Has he insulated his house? Has he done stuff to his own home so that he's not hearing? If he has no insulation, he's going to hear everything. I grew up, my daughter was little. I had an autistic neighbor who was probably 6'2". He was scary and dark, and he used to trash his house and smash windows, and every time we'd go to bed, my daughter would say, "Oh my God, that guy's making noise again." You know what I said? He's making noise, but you're not making excuses. It's time for bed. And my daughter can sleep through a freight train right now. So, I'm sorry, there's way too many things in play where maybe they're not doing enough, but it shouldn't be just on this business. So I met him. My daughter, I was widowed at 20, so I've done it by myself. So we had a road race, and it lasted about 5 years. Every single year, Jason donated tents, and he came and he set it up. We also had other large companies donate tents that were 40 by 20, weighed a couple 100 pounds. They dropped them off, literally dropped them off and left. Jason set out those tents. He also put up all of their advertising. He hung out and helped everybody throughout the day. And he probably has no idea who I am because he helped everybody. So I just think to go after one business who has literally busted their ass for this town in every way possible to be shut down because someone can't get their kids to sleep is not fair. And we all work hard. We all work hard. Nobody works harder than anybody else. And actually, I'm sure people do. But at the same point, you can't attack one business when one person's not happy. And it's something, maybe they can't control it. But it's, I don't know. I think you guys are making the wrong decision.
Thank you. All right, do we have any discussion, thoughts? Anything to move forward with?
The way I look at it is, this goes the way I think it's gonna go. That any other business that comes up for live entertainment is gonna have to be shut down.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Anyone else, basically after the fact, because I don't want this, because as we all know, this took up our whole summer. And I'm concerned because we're gonna probably have Treehouse come on in to ask for a live entertainment permit. And the way this is going and the way that upset the folks in this town on either side, if it's denied, everyone gets denied.
I don't know if I see it that way.
I'm just basically, I'm sick and tired of it.
Why would, so you're saying that you would deny everybody?
I would.
Oh, no, I don't think that makes any sense. That's just my opinion.
No, not because basically we understand the residential area in and of itself. I've talked about basically, like I said, restaurants, it is eating, boozing, maybe ambient noise. The add-on is the music that we're talking about today.
Of course.
That is what it is. Now, don't mind that, or is it acoustic and we can't do that because of certain bands that come on in, this is what you want for your business? Hey, I get it. But at the same time, as I stated when we actually, overall, because unfortunately, sorry you weren't here, I'm the one who had the problem with it. I'm the one who gave all these other things going on since 2020, these examples of hearing. Other people didn't want to write complaints either because they're concerned. And that concerned me because I went, okay, what's going on where they can't have a formal complaint? Are they concerned about the business? Are they concerned about, someone coming at them for whoever it may be? I don't know. I care about the town and the people, the 18,300 and some odd people we have right now. It used to be 18,500. Where I just want to move forward and not have this take up all of our damn time anytime someone comes on in because of we can't get the noise level properly. Jason, you said straight out that basically we're going to unplug them. Last time we basically have unplugged them was half an hour before you were shutting down anyway. So I'm concerned if this keeps on going on, the attitude of this town and the folks, it's gonna be trying not to curse here, but I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be a shit show. And it's unfortunate, and I can't have that. So for me, it's denied this evening. I'm denying everything. And it's unfortunate for that one too, because I think we do have another one in the, off the Oak Street area that we have. But I said that's really industrialized compared to where Somewhere Else Tavern is. You can say whatever you want. I mean, honestly, go for it.
Residents live in that neighborhood. How many are complaining? One.
There's other,
Great. There's probably 100 within that area.
I understand, but listen to me out.
It's not good for business.
There's
It's not good.
other people complaining who don't want to actually put a physical complaint against it. And I don't know why. They won't tell me. But they'll tell me straight out that something's going on that was too damn noisy. People on Plymouth Street, and they're concerned. And I have to figure out everybody, not just basically a few, everybody, because these are who I represent. So, I mean, even with
That's hearsay. It's inadmissible. It's hearsay.
this is why I'm saying it.
Court.
That's why overall, I have to basically
Can't
make sure
yell
they're
back and forth.
physical complaints. So I have to take it what's in front of me right now, which is true. So what I have,
Can I
okay?
say something just biased, not from one side or the other side, just a
That's
thought?
up to the chair.
We're not taking public comment tonight.
Okay, I ain't about it, though. I just wanna.
I understand,
If
but
we
we would
ever
be
try
here
to
for
get
hours.
Those two parties together with the select board without all this and try to let them, we don't even know what's acceptable. Does he wanna hear it? Doesn't he? I mean, have we even tried to manage it better?
I know that
where
Sean has
the
been out there
Bokies
as
and
well
the
multiple
Cooks
times.
and the select board got together in a closed room and kinda talked it out and tried to manage the
That's why
situation.
that's why we have
You
these
can't do
meetings.
that?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
But we can get text.
If we do that, it's an open meeting violation. We can't do
Oh,
that.
okay, I'm just
No.
trying to see what works. for both
It's called
parties.
CYA right there.
Yeah,
No.
okay, I'm just trying to, because we
No.
don't know what's acceptable.
Correct.
Right. No, we can't do something like that. Were you else? Did you
Yeah,
have
I'm
anything
done.
else?
I'm done.
Did you guys have anything else to
That's
add?
my concern.
Briefly, so this license, this outdoor entertainment license expires November
First, yeah.
1st.
Yeah.
I mean, it's around the corner. I mean, and then he can reapply again first of the year, correct?
So I went after that, but
Technically speaking, your live entertainment licenses are eligible for renewal.
Yearly.
At the end of the year. We would come forward with the license package to you, indoor and outdoor, for renewal.
Right. So it can come back up again, and I didn't know, Mr. Cook, would you consider an acoustical license or an acoustical amendment to this? And then maybe over the winter, we're gonna have many months, we can put together some sort of solution, maybe build something to contain it, or maybe wall off that side and kind of work through a few things. That way, maybe there's not any bias towards you, when you do come back in, and I assume you will, to reapply for an outdoor license? Is that,
We tried the acoustic discussion last time. Sorry, go ahead.
Directing it to me.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We, thank you for even giving me the option to think about a different opportunity, but I'm sure it would have to go in front of the building department, who we dealt with and done everything that we were asked to do. There's no, we're not gonna be able to build a building there.
well, not a building, maybe there's a sound barrier, maybe that, I'm just thinking maybe, think outside the
Rich,
box.
I'm not sure, I'm not a construction guy at this point.
Because I think the tent
At this point,
aspect
it's
of
probably
it
just not even.
allows the noise and the bass to come out.
Thank you for thinking of an option, but.
If that is, could he still get, to say if he spends $5,000, $7,000 to build a structure, is he gonna guarantee a permit? So let's just say
I
it's
think,
gonna work.
I think if that sort of effort
Yeah.
is made, I would be willing to give that a shot in next
try.
year. And I'm just thinking, I mean, you don't want it revoked tonight, if you can help it. And if maybe it came from you and we went towards a amendment on it, I just think it holds better for you next, there's always 2026.
Agreed. How big of a fence can you have in Pembroke?
You can go through a special permit and
That's
get,
what I was asking.
and
You
get
can go higher, right?
modifications to the building, yeah. So I guess I'll formally ask you if an amendment to this, if I made an amendment to make this acoustic, is this something you can live with? I just don't think it's gonna get any better than that.
I was personally just hoping we could finish off the next couple of weeks, we have 3 more acts.
I don't know if that's gonna happen
Well, we'll
tonight.
cancel everything then.
Would you,
We'll put these bands.
I mean, you still got a couple of
we'll
weeks,
give
would
them money back and
would
we'll do
acoustic
it.
work for you?
We're not gonna fill in an acoustic session to replace a rock band. I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Flynn, but at this point, I mean, the one that we have coming Saturday, I'll have to pay them $1,000 because I gotta cancel. Bringing an acoustic guy on a stool isn't gonna help me any. We can have him inside, which we'll do in the wintertime. And then maybe we can entertain an outside permit in the spring. All depends on where we are at that point with our business, because it's definitely a financial kick in the butt. And I was in my restaurant tonight with a cribbage league, and a good friend of mine lives on Furnace Pond, said he could clearly hear the music coming from the tavern last Saturday. This is, you spoke about this, John, saying that other people are complaining. These people are still playing music every weekend, whether they have a permit or not. I'm not the guy that's gonna say, they're doing this, they're doing that, but it has to be right for everybody,
Correct.
as you said.
Correct.
So what I'd really like to do is get through this season. You said you're never gonna give another outside license again.
The way it's going,
So
no.
that's, you said that, not I. So if you let us finish off the season, as you say, I'm the only one licensed in town to do so. These guys are still playing music and they don't have a license. But if we can do that, and then we can re-entertain everything in the spring, as business people, as select board people, as neighbors, maybe we can come to a happy agreement with some modifications, if it's even an avenue I want to travel. This has taken up our whole summer.
Correct.
This has been nothing but a thorn in my ass, excuse my French, and all of yours. I don't want to be here tonight. I don't. And neither do you guys. I've said this more than once at these meetings.
Yes, you have.
I'm done, man.
What is acceptable for music for Mr. Goki? I'm just curious.
None.
I mean, I'm just trying
You have to, sir, you have to go through the
Wait,
chair
we
if you
can't-
had a
We
question
can't
for
have a back
anybody.
and forth in the
Okay,
meeting
I'm
with people.
just-
Sean, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I just want to know, have we received complaints about the town tavern? We're responding to a complaint.
I'm not
I've
aware.
got nothing.
An official, yeah, it has to be an official complaint.
It's
though.
not,
You brought
but,
it up. You brought up the problem saying we're not being,
No.
he just did.
well,
Just did.
Doesn't matter.
oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
We've already, right, it doesn't matter who, but no, we have not.
Yeah, we have to go
But did
upon
we have
official
anything further
complaints.
about this situation?
No,
This
I
situation.
said my piece.
Okay. All right. Would anybody want to entertain a motion here? We have motions in front of us, choices, of course. Different language, different
Yeah, I move to revoke the license for the Summerhouse Tavern at 65 School Street for unreasonably increasing the level of noise in the area in which it is located, adversely impacting the abutters, as no effective measure, strategy, or manner employed to date has addressed the board's concerns or reduced the impact of the situation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, 4-0, yes. All right.
Meeting adjourned?
What's that? Nope, let some people. What was that? Oh, thank you. Did you have something?
No, just basically, we can move to adjourn.
I felt like I
Second,
didn't-
wait,
Oh, oh,
we didn't adjourn yet.
sorry.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you.